Sorry, I'm so fucking hungry. Everything's fine.
You should eat before. You're always.
You can also, if you want to keep eating, I can do like
other
I can
stuff.
do Niall and Kyle's first if you want to keep eating.
Yeah, I would love you forever. I'm gonna mute myself so that Kyle doesn't have to edit out the sounds of me chewing like
I
an
appreciate
Okay.
Oh, what the fuck, man? Why would he lie to me like that? My whole life, I've been trying to kill Weth, and I find out today that the reason that my mum's dead is because my dad just left her to be swarmed by demons. Oh, fuck. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I going to do with myself now? Oh, do I continue on this path of vengeance, or... God, I need some answers. Hopefully I can find him at home and figure some of this shit out.
The Multiverse Collective.
So, after all that was party at Weth's, you guys are on the road for a few days. So it is, still for the most part, relatively well-traveled paths, but you're definitely able to get into some stuff. You have a chance to, go off the beaten path a little bit, find some Pokemon, train your squad, maybe find some cool items buried in the ground. So let's start with Brutus.
Yes.
So how, outside of like camping with the bros and hanging out and all that stuff, as you're on the road, what are you up to these couple of days?
Brutus is still working with Brick and Nightshade. If he's going to have these Pokemon, then he's going to try to at least get them in some sort of fighting shape. And Brick is showing a lot of promise for, combat potential. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to practice a new move on just some wild Pokemon around.
Yeah, and during one of these days, you're able to come across a small nest of Ekans. You see that the mother Arbok is gone to go out feeding. So it's a good chance to test your skills on some lower level caliber enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So What does this look like testing out this new move?
So they've been working on practicing Icy Wind, which can hit multiple targets at once. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to try and just like sneak up on the nest, and then he's going to try and have Brick take down basically the entire nest at one shot.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely a work in progress, but I think near the end of the second day, you come across this nest of Ekans, and I think it all goes well. So you have Nightshade kind of herd them into one area, and you see Brick in the bushes, and as soon as they're kind of all gathered together, you see Brick blast out this jet of icy cold air as Nightshade jumps out of the way, and you see these Ekans slither away into the bushes.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And he's gonna give Brick a solid high five and Nightshade a good scritch on the head.
Yeah. So at the end of the final day, as you guys are walking, at this point, it's like golden hour, right? You notice up ahead of you, a large quadrupedal figure standing in the road. The sun is shining at you, so you can't make out like a color, can't really make out anything more than its shadow, but you see it's this very large quadrupedal creature. You see large fangs coming out of its mouth, and you see on its back what looks to be a cloud or something just kind of like flowing gracefully in the wind.
He's gonna just sort of stop and look down at Brick and just sort of be like, "Stay calm. We don't know what this is." And he's gonna take a couple steps forward towards it to see if he can get a better view of what he might be looking at.
Yeah, and I think as you take a couple of steps forward, you see its head kind of move over to look in your direction, and you see a dark, shadowed face, but you see these bright red eyes, just kind of staring at you. It doesn't seem hostile, but it opens its mouth to let out a roar, and the roar sounds like the crackle of lightning with a thunder clap just after it.
I think Brutus is gonna take a few steps back and look at Brick and be like, "I don't think this fight's for us, Brick. This is beyond us."
Why don't you go ahead and roll 2d6 plus special.
11.
With that, you can just kind of judging off of vibes, you can see that this Pokemon is very powerful, but it, for one reason or another, it does not seem to be hostile, and it almost you can kind of feel, especially with an 11, you can just kind of feel like the energy that it's giving off, and it's like, all right, bro, you can approach me if you want.
Yeah, I think as soon as it shows that it's going to be non-aggressive, he'll sort of like pick Brick up and just sort of set him on his shoulder, like hanging off the shoulder where he likes to sit. And just sort of do the thing you do when you approach like a wild dog, and just sort of slow steps with your arms out. Something he tried to pick up from Clyde at some point.
And I think as you get closer, you're able to see this thing in more detail. You're able to see that this Pokemon has a yellow body with black stripes. This cloud is like a large tuft of fur that is white. It looks like it could be made out of clouds itself, and it definitely regards you, and it just kind of lowers its head just to denote like, I'm not looking for a fight today. Yeah.
Brutus, he's going to try and see how close he can get, and if possible, he's going to try and pet this thing. Does he know what it is? I mean, it's a legendary, so would he have awareness of what this is?
Yeah, why don't you roll 2d6 plus special with advantage? 8. So you don't quite know everything about it, but I think as you're able to get close enough, and you kind of reach out your hand, and it brings its head to your hand. It seems, and I mean, this is like, it is giant. I mean, it is almost laying down to where you can reach it. Even on 4 legs, it's probably 11 or 12 feet tall, and as you get a better look at this thing up close, you don't know a ton about it, but you know that this is the legendary Pokemon Raikou. And you wouldn't know everything about it, but you would know that, well, this thing isn't a god. It is certainly a very rare and powerful Pokemon. It is said that it has, when it roars, it can summon thunderstorms.
And I'm alone, right? Guinan and Clyde aren't here.
Yeah, they're off doing their own thing at the moment.
He's just going to chuckle to himself and go, Clyde and Guinan are going to be so jealous when I tell them of this. And
Raikou kind of moves its head, gesturing towards the cloud on its back.
Brutus is gonna look at it and be like, "Are you telling me to get on, or touch, what were the vibes of this? Was he wanting to touch him, or?"
Yeah, it wants you to reach in.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I just misunderstood.
Yeah, reach into the cloud.
He sort of reaches back and touches the thundercloud.
So as you put your hand in there, it definitely feels like you would expect a cloud. It's very light, but nothing kind of moves like as you may have expected. Nothing moves, but as you put your hand in it, you feel this tingle of static electricity, and you feel a circular, like a spherical object that your hand touches. And when it does, you get just the slightest jolt of electricity, not enough to hurt you, but enough where like all your hair is standing on end. I
will pull the orb out.
So this orb, it is an orb of Volt Absorb. And so you can give it to one of your Pokemon, and it has 4 charges. No, I'm sorry. It has 1 charge. I'm balancing this on the fly, if you can tell. This is all off the dome. So it has a single charge, and if a Pokemon is holding it and gets hit with an electric type move, the move does no damage and raises the targeted Pokemon special attack by 1. So it adds like the +1 modifier to it. When you have this +1 modifier from this Volt Absorb orb, if you use a normal type move, the next time you use a normal type move, you can deal it as electric type damage.
Oh shit. All right.
And both of these effects are only available once per combat.
Oh, hell yeah. All right, well, Brick's getting that because he's fucking weak to electric, so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just going to take it and hand it to Brick. Be like, here, keep this in your shell.
Brick nods, and you see as he's just kind of like, tucks it away, you can see these small arcs of electricity are kind of like jumping up his shell. Doesn't seem to hurt him, but are just kind of like jumping up and down his shell. And this Raikou nods, and as this sun begins to set on your final day, this Pokemon gives one more mighty roar and bounds off and away.
Brutus just sort of waves and goes, "Thank you, friend. I appreciate a good experience with a legendary."
So now we will go over to Clyde.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. I know the past day for you was a little bit rough, but
Oh yeah.
for these 3 days of travel, how are you? Spending time on the road, spending time with your Pokemon?
I think still focusing on Ellie and Sven. The training for Ellie's changed now. It's more just if I can see you've failed, or if I can sort of get a read on where you are. It's training him to be hidden sort of everywhere. But then I think because of what happened yesterday, and seeing the fire in Sven's eyes as well, it's gone like the training, like the strength training that we did last time has gone from like basic strength training to like you see Clyde and Sven like doing 100-meter dashes and then push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and then like doing a bit of sparring and then running again, and then like both training together to get stronger.
Yeah, and I think Sven's taking this. I mean, you can tell that Sven, well, not necessarily as personal of a connection to your mother and Weth. It definitely, I can say, definitely like, as has a stake in this game too, and so was also equally as shell shocked because I mean, Sven was in an egg for, God, probably 10 years.
24.
A long time. So, didn't really get to see much of this fallout. But, Sven is, he's going 110% for you. He knows what this means, and, he can tell that that this is getting serious. In the afternoon of the second day, as you and Ellie and Sven are doing some training in the woods, you notice a cave, kind of a small cave peeking out of one of the sides of these hills.
I'm gonna go in the cave.
Yeah.
Nothing bad has come from us going in a cave before on any of our podcasts, so I'm going in the cave.
So as you venture into this cave, it's a pretty small cave, and you notice two things. The first is a very large worm that's just kind of like it's curling around. You can't really see it because it's much smaller compared to this worm, but you see this like a flash of like a red rock looking thing as you kind of look, and this worm notices you, and it kind of rears back and lets out this like weird earthen kind of like roar. It sounds like a minor, like a rock fall, and it looks like whatever this thing is trying to protect it.
Okay. I'm going to use Ellie to distract this Pokemon. I'll probably have Ellie use Leafage, but I'm not going to use it to like attack him, damage him. I want it to like draw his attention away. So I'll have Ellie use like Leafage on like a wall of the cave or something, just to distract this Pokemon for a second. And then I'm going to have Sven use Extreme Speed. From he's sort of gone from having this quick attack to, from all the 100-meter dashes he's done, he can now do a 100-meter dash in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. So this Earthworm is the Pokemon you're looking at.
Okay.
It's big, but it's definitely slow, so it's not ready for this two-pronged assault. And actually, as you command Sven to use Extreme Speed. So with Quick Attack, you were able to kind of see like motion blur of Sven as he goes to attack. Whereas with Extreme Speed, you completely lose sight of him as he moves to where he, 1 second he's next to you, just kind of squared up, ready to go. And the next second he is up in this Earthworm's face off the ground, just pounding it with like punches and kicks. And this Earthworm, it takes a few rounds of attacks, but after just a couple of minutes, it looks like you've certainly, are on the precipice of besting this beast.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a Pokeball.
Yeah, and as you do, it's one of those things where I imagine you are kind of using the same thing where you have Ellie kind of distracting it from one side. This Earthworm isn't even paying attention as this Pokeball is thrown, and as it hits the ground, it shakes once, twice, and 3 times. And as you hear a click, you are able to see what this Earthworm was guarding, and it is a decently sized, maybe like 8 inches, the size of like a kind of a standard hardcover book. And it is this beautiful, like dark red color. And as you pick it up, you kind of feel this very primal energy, not quite fire, more like a draconic energy as you pick it up.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna pocket that. Make sure that stays nicely tucked into my satchel for use at a later date.
And finally, we will cut over to Guinan.
Guinan just has the gang out and about. Kevin the Sprigatito and Joshua the Sandile are both just sort of frolicking. And I think Guinan is doing her usual degenerate ruin maniac shit where she's just like trying to go off the beaten path to find weird stuff to touch that she shouldn't be touching and putting in her pockets.
Yeah, and so pretty early on, you're able to see kind of a hidden area. In a bush, you're able to see some movement. And as you go to investigate, you are looking around in this bush, and you find a small satchel.
Yeah, I mean, Guinan, as we all know, loves investigating bush.
God.
And thank you for that absolute T-ball, Matt. Yeah, she grabs the satchel and she opens it up. She wants to know what's inside. This is exciting.
Yeah. Inside, there are a smattering of these black Pokeballs with yellow golden kind of accoutrements on it. So you have found a small satchel full of Ultra Balls.
Fuck yeah, those immediately go into Guinan's special backpack.
Yeah.
Another surprise tool that will help us later.
And as you kind of pull out of this bush, I'm in on it too. It's fun when I know when it's coming. You notice that Joshua and Kevin are both nowhere to be found.
Shit, fuck. Oh, son of a bitch.
And further on into the forest, you hear Joshua just.
Yeah, Guinan uses Joshua's cry to echolocate him.
Yeah, and as you run over, you notice Joshua trying and failing so adorably to try and snatch a fruit off of the neck of a Tropius that's just kind of sitting there, looking down at Joshua and Kevin, rather annoyed.
Yeah, I mean, I would be annoyed too if someone was trying to snatch my neck bananas, but who am I? Aren't they nanab berries in Pokemon? Is that how you say it? Nanab?
Yeah, nanab. I was trying to think of like a more like a less tropical fruit. So actually, you know what? Instead of like bananas, they're bushels of lingonberries.
Oh, sick. Okay, yeah, Joshua's definitely trying to get at those lingonberries.
Yeah.
I think Guinan's going to approach the Tropius very politely, because clearly her two idiot children have been pestering it. Hi, Mr. Tropius, I am so sorry about all of this. And she's like picking them up one under each arm and like, they're doing their dumb little children things. I just imagine them as like both unruly toddlers.
Oh, yeah.
So there's like a lot of histrionics as she does this. I'm so sorry that we bothered you, Mr. Tropius. Actually, would she recognize it? I keep saying Mr.
Yeah,
Tropius.
I think Guinan's enough of a nerd to recognize Pokemon.
Okay.
So I think this Tropius just kind of like looks down at you. Tropius generally pretty pretty jovial, pretty nice towards humans. So it sees you and its face kind of goes from annoyed to like, oh boy, hey, a buddy. And it kind of like leans its big old neck down and just kind of like looks at you, and you see Joshua squirm out of your hands and just eat a big old bushel of lingonberries straight from
Joshua.
the neck.
This is why we can't have anything nice.
And it's just, this Tropius is just kind of looking at you.
Yeah, I think Guinan has now set Joshua and Kevin, the Sprigatito, back down, and is, I think, probably petting the Tropius, trying to, like, ingratiate herself, because she does have these 8 new Ultra Balls, and she would love to just bonk one against the Tropius's head, but she wants to make sure that he's, like, along for the ride before she just kidnaps him.
Yeah, I think as you, like, start to leave, you just feel like the Tropius head, for as large of a Pokemon as it is, the head is not super huge, but it is attached to a very long neck. So you start walking and you get like 10 feet away and you just see like this, like in your peripherals, just like the side of this Tropius's face, just like, hey buddy, where are you going?
Oh, Bud, do you want to come along?
It looks at you and it just takes a couple of like lumbering steps in the direction that you're going.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna try something, okay? Don't freak out. And Guinan reaches into her backpack and grabs one of the Ultra Balls and gently bonks it against the Tropius's head.
Yeah, Tropius allows itself to be caught up in this Pokeball, and you see it fall to the ground. It shakes once, and it clicks.
Fuck yeah! I'm gonna call you Bradley.
You feel from inside the Pokeball a wiggle of agreement.
Excellent. I love naming my Pokemon exotic names like Bradley and Joshua and Kevin. I think it really is unique. Yeah, and I think as they're on their way back, she keeps Joshua out, but we'll put Kevin away because he has a tendency to get into a little too much trouble.
Sounds about right. Yeah, and so after a couple of days of traveling, you guys have been traveling together, maybe not like immediately together, but close enough to where you guys are, camping together making camp at night and, setting off and going in the same general direction. As you guys converge for the final time on this trip, it is the evening of the third day, and Brutus, you guys see Brutus ahead, just kind of waving to some figure that is not visible.
I know I do weird shit like talking to Pokemon, but why is Brutus talking to fucking nothing? Like waving to thin air.
I wasn't gonna say anything because we all like very clearly have something going on mentally. I don't know. Maybe we see if he volunteers the information, or we could ask him about it at dinner.
It doesn't seem like the very talkative kind of guy. Like
no, but
he randomly brought up that depressing story, like about his old Pokemon when we were. I mean, those two random guys who got beat up and left near our campfire. That was mental. But he was sat there, eating, and he just brought it up out the blue. Maybe that's what we just did. We just wait for him to tell us when he's comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, and expanding on that thought, how do we know that wasn't another one of his hallucinations? Because he's like really into this. I mean, he's like active. Do you see him just like reaching for nothing?
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
It is a bit weird.
It's kind of weird.
Did they see the orb?
No, but I think you guys are able to take a look at Brick, who's just kind of standing there, and you see this like small arc of electricity just like come from like under his shell and like out and around and back in.
Oh god, he's Super Saiyan Squirtle.
Yeah, I don't want to unpack any of that. Did you do anything cool?
I got a new Pokemon.
Oh my god, same. What'd you get? What'd you find?
I got an Orthworm. I called him Stalamur.
Stalamur. Oh, fuck yeah. That's sick, man.
Did you do anything cool?
Yeah, I found a Pokemon too. I found a Tropius. He's got like infinite lingonberries, and now I think we have something that we can ride. Perhaps?
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Tropius
I don't know
also
if he can
flies.
He does also fly, but he is only level 1, so I can't imagine that I get to just auto teach him fly.
Not quite yet.
As absolutely fucking broken as that would be.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's super cool. I named him Bradley. It's exotic.
That really tracks for you. That is a really exotic name, considering we're Norse, so...
Yeah. I mean, Bradley, Joshua, Kevin, I really wanted to hit, all of...
Have you ever visited England? I know we've sent a few longboats over there in recent years, but...
No, I've only heard rumors about Galar.
Yeah, Galar, that's the one.
I haven't, no, I haven't visited. My mom went a few years ago.
Oh, so stories. You have these names through stories. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah,
I feel like while you guys are talking, you realize Brutus has just been standing there, like in the circle, not talking.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry, Arceus. Where did you come from?
For such a big fella,
I've been waiting for you to catch up.
Oh, well, you just stood here and we just absent-mindedly walked into your little circle. Oh, great. How you doing? How's your last 3 days been?
Oh, very enlightening. Emphasis on the lightning.
That feels like an inside joke.
Okay.
That's great, Brutus.
Yeah. I'm glad to see you had an enlightened journey these last few days.
Yeah.
More of lightning.
I'm not gonna ask any.
Yeah, I'm not gonna unpack.
You
ready to keep going?
See Brick like...
I say Brick's got like a little bit of spark, like a little spark comes off of him.
Yep.
Did you find like a Minus or a Pulse? Is it Pulsey or is it Plusy?
Plusly and Minin.
Plus, yeah, that's the one. Did you find some of them and like stuff it in brick shelf?
No.
Or did you
They
find
don't
a
deserve
thunderstone and stuff it in brick shell?
That's
Because I
closer to
feel-
the truth.
Okay, we'll leave it there. You ready to go? I feel like we're nearly at Strandkanten-Kampp now. You know, it's not far.
Yes, let us get us going.
Awesome.
Yeah, Clyde, you would know. So Strandkanten-Kampp it's more of like a research outpost than it is a town. You know, I would say, especially with the more kind of like recent expeditions, it's been becoming more of like a permanent settlement, but it's still a lot of like tents and just kind of like boxes, kind of haphazardly around. And as you walk into what you would call the town square, which is really just like a big tent and some especially large research equipment, you notice there are a cadre of scientists kind of looking around like this big kind of table where there are a couple of posters, and you can't really pick out what they're saying, but they sound very excited.
I'm gonna walk in to this tent, and I'm gonna be like, "What up, nerds? The prodigal son has returned to Strandkanten-Kampp."
You see these guys fully, like there's probably 5 of them around this table, and they fully just kind of like jump back. They're like, "Oh," one of them is just like, "Oh, father, you scared me. Next time, knock before coming in."
It's a tent. What am I supposed to knock on?
On the wood beams.
He makes a good point, Clyde.
Okay. I'm just gonna reach up to a wooden beam and just.
Hello, yes. Thank you for making yourself known. Who are you?
I'm Clyde Olison.
Olison.
Successor of the Ranger name.
Oh, you mean that weird guy who lives on the outskirts of town?
Yeah. The one who, when this settlement first started, and it was a ranger training camp before you fucking nerds came and started excavating everything. It was like the most accomplished young ranger. He's a weird guy now, don't get me wrong, but back then, he was the shit, as they say.
Well, he hasn't really come into town in probably, I don't know, 10 years at least. So, forgive me, but I'm sorry. Where are my manners? My name is Nard, and
Max.
I know I don't know why, but everybody gives me that reaction when I say my name. I should really find a nickname or something. Yeah. Well,
You have
focus
the
on
power
that
to
later.
change your name. Also, Brutus is in the tent now.
Well, you have come at a really exciting time. As you may or may not be aware, we've been excavating the site for years at this point, and we've found some scraps and some artifacts, but really only until now have we been able to translate what we're seeing. We still can't necessarily decipher it, but we're able to understand kind of the gist of what's going on. And as you can see, he kind of opens his body up so that you all can see this table, and on it there are these 4 like paper posters in various states of like decay, and they all have these stylized Gothic writing on it in a language that you can't understand. It's kind of like looking at Cyrillic, where it's like you can kind of understand a couple of letters, but like most of it's just gibberish to you. So from what we can understand, we've been able to find out that this city, before it was turned into the state that you can see it in, it was in in conflict. It was in some kind of war. And as you can see, these posters, they seem to be kind of like rallying cries for the inhabitants that at one point lived here. You know, these there are numbers that we can read, but they still don't really make sense. And you know, you look at this one piece that is it's a white piece of paper, a collection of white pieces of paper with very small writing on it in this same kind of gibberish thing that you can't understand. But at the top, you are able to see a set of numbers that says like 05.08.1941. And Nard continues and he says, you know, we're not quite sure what these numbers mean, but on this piece here and on several others that we found, we've seen similar sets of numbers. So I believe this is significant somehow.
Okay, I see you, man. I see you, man. Look, yeah, that's really interesting. I'm gonna look at Brutus in the eyes and be like, no, I've got fucking no clue what he's talking about. I've got some bad news for you though, Nard.
What's that?
Okay, so you know Weth, the woman who's been funding your whole operation to do these excavations and historical findings, you know, do all this stuff?
Ugh, her, she won't leave us alone. She just wants things.
Yes, well, we've been sent to tell you that she's cutting funding and you're going to have to find support from elsewhere from now on.
Yeah.
And as
what?
a citizen of Strandkanten-Kampp, that means if I see you digging or taking anything, I will take it as personal conflict and I will stop you personally with these fists. Do you understand?
Well, this is unacceptable. This is for science and for the betterment of society. And I can't believe that Weth would do that. I mean, she knows how important this is. You know what we're going to do? We're going to march right up to Drag's home and we are going to find her and we are going to tell her off. Isn't that right? And looks at these other scientists who are just like,
Guinan is just laughing.
Yeah, all of you go. Every single person who's part of this excavation team, just because, as I said, if I see anyone digging here, I'm going to take it as a personal attack on Strandkanten-Kampp because you do not have the permits anymore. But, you know, you go and do what you need to do. Go speak to Weth. I'm sure she will, you know, have a change of heart if you bring up these excellent points you just made here. Show her the posters in that weird language, and she might change her mind then once she knows this significant number thing at the top.
Well, we're gonna go right up there and we are going to demand continued funding. Isn't that right? And these five guys are just, you know, nod in agreement and walk off. And it seems that the site of this archaeological dig is open. And as you guys walk out of the tent and you are able to kind of fully see it, Clyde, I know you've probably been around this before, but Guinan and Brutus, you see this sprawling landscape of buildings. Some of them are made out of what looks to be stone. Some of them out of wooden half timber that look kind of similar to some of the newer buildings in some of the capital cities that you may have visited. The style of architecture, it looks simultaneously very, very contemporary, but also there's this sense of decay. You know, you see buildings with roofs that are crashed in and, you know, windows that are busted. And, you know, there are a few buildings that are just rubble and in various states of disrepair. But this is a very large area.
Guinan immediately starts taking frantic notes.
We've got 6 days, I'd say, give or take, to poke around.
Yeah, I think it's going to be longer than that. I think the chances of them actually making it onto the property and not getting eaten by Ragnar are pretty slim.
I mean, I didn't think that far ahead.
He was chill with us, but yeah, he's not
very friendly towards strangers. I mean, there's a reason that my mom just like lets him run around out there. It's not so that he can have freedom.
I mean, I've dodged him once before, so that wasn't a fun time.
Yeah,
He's got a good nose on him, I'll tell you that.
No, and he smells like cinnamon rolls, so it's really this deceptive thing. You'd think he would smell like the viscera of his victims, but he doesn't.
Yeah. But yeah, we've got 6 days on this dig. I'm saying we use 5 days to... Oh, you guys can use 6 days. I'm going to use 5 days to help you poke around, and on the 6th day, I'm going to go and beat the shit out of my old man. Sound good?
Sounds great.
As you consult this map that Weth had given you inadvertently, you are able to make out, kind of near the city center, a few buildings. So the most important, in the center of town, you see this cathedral, and this is marked on the map as priority 1. You see a couple other buildings. So one of them, as you walk by, you see this this long building made out of stone and what looks to be like this brown rusted metal. And so in some of the rubble, you're able to see some, well, I don't think you would know necessarily what they are, but in addition to this kind of one long building, you see these smaller buildings in the back, again, kind of made of stone, unassuming. You're able to see what looks to be kind of laborers' barracks. Inside of these buildings, you see these very small wooden bunks, very close together. Looks very utilitarian, very, I don't know, not comfortable. So that's one kind of complex you see. As you're walking, you see another building here that looks like this big building, or a big collection of buildings with different biomes in it. From what you can see, it almost looks to be some kind of like Pokemon study preserve. It looks like these different biomes can be holding different Pokemon in these different areas. And where, there are some paths, like clearly man-made paths, where what you assume to be scientists can walk around and study these Pokemon in their natural environment without them having to be in their natural environment, if that makes sense. You see this one large building. It's probably one of the more held together buildings out of all of them. It is this like white marble building. The main building has a couple of wings with some smaller buildings on top. They all have these big domes with little spires on it. And outside, you're able to see a collection of books that are strewn about on the ground. And then as you walk into truly the center of this area, you're able to see what looks to be a large ornate cathedral. Again, you can tell that this is kind of a place of worship just by the vibe, but it looks like the style of building looks completely alien to you. Oh, you know what? Sorry, there's one more building too that I want to point out. So, kind of across the way from this large alien, what feels like a house of worship, there looks like a husk of a building. It looks to have been burnt out. You can see some of the stone foundation. Inside, you can see some, again, what looks to be religious iconography. Can't really tell more about it. You are standing in front of this large building that, according to the street map, Weth has marked as your top priority.
I've personally always wanted to check out that cathedral. I've never been allowed in, but now the nerds are gone.
Seems like a great place to start.
It's the biggest building I can see. From where we're stood, it's the biggest building I can see, so go big or go home, right?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, unless there's anything, you want to start in the smaller buildings. I don't know, man. I'm just here for the ride. And the 40,000 Pokédollars.
Yeah, Guinan marches off towards the cathedral.
I follow.
Yeah, so as you walk into this building, you see on either side. This is definitely, as you walk in, you recognize it to be a church, like a large church. You can see rows of kind of dismantled, what look to have maybe been seating areas. On both of the walls, you see, in the fading light, you see these stained glass murals. Some of them are destroyed, but like you can kind of get the gist of what's going on. It's, mostly this like unintelligible mythos. Doesn't really follow anything that you're familiar with. From what you can get, there's some dude and he dies, and I don't know, I guess he comes back to life. That's like, and it just, follows him, like the life and times of this dude who dies and comes back to life.
This guy was really egocentric and self-centered. What
a weird story.
From what I can tell, he came back to life to just go away after 3 days. Who does that?
A lot of this just doesn't make any sense at all. It's almost like it's cobbled together from a bunch of other stories. They just like cherry picked the ideas that they like.
Someone's been having some really bad nanam berries and going on a trip to write this story.
So as you get to the front of this building, you see an altar, and under the altar you see this wooden trapdoor that looks to have been at one point covered by a rug, kind of off in the corner that is open.
Obviously, Guinan
Trapdoor adventure.
is like sprinting at it. Yeah, this is it.
I'm gonna go straight in as well.
We're hole diving, baby.
So you see this like metal ladder that you clamber down, and as you're down there, you walk through some tunnels that have some some puddles at the bottom. These tunnels turn from what look to be more utilitarian as you kind of keep walking through them. You see that there are like torches on the wall. You can guess that the nerds have been here.
Fucking nerds.
But these corridors turn from utilitarian to more kind of religious and more taken care of in a previous life. And as you walk through, you get to a dead end of a large room covered wall to ceiling in human bones.
Oh, sick.
Seems like a nice place.
That's not awfully scary at all.
And at the back wall, you notice a strange figure. It looks to be kind of crouched, but you can tell that it is quite large and quite imposing, made of this like black material. Not close enough to really tell what it is, but it looks to be just kind of like squatting very reverently in the like at the back wall.
I'm gonna touch it. If anything we have done in this campaign is touching the weird mysterious rock thing is a good thing.
Guinan will also send Joshua out. Also, he's level 5 now. I don't know what that means. We'll talk about it later.
So as Clyde, as you go over and as Joshua is released, you see a flash of purple light emanate from what looks like the face of this guardian, which stands up to a full height of about 15 or 16 feet, and you hear coming from it.
Astia, online. Waffensysteme aktiviert. Primäres Ziel, Beinhausschützen.
And that's where we will end our session.